Introduction to Zhutian Tourists. Zhutian Tourists System. What is it? Take me to Zhutian Tourists. The first world. The world of survival. What is there to visit in this world? Watching zombies. Or punching in the safe house. This is a story of a lucky person who has obtained the Sky Traveler system wandering aimlessly in the sky world. Chapter 1. Zhutian Tourist System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hello dear. I am the Zhutian Traveler system, which has been bound to you and is dedicated to providing you with high-quality travel services. Faced with the sudden sound, Huang Tianyuan's face was filled with shock. Is it a prank? He slowly sat up and looked left and right. He stayed up late last night to watch the meteor shower, and it seemed that he had accidentally fallen asleep. System. Is it there? I asked tentatively. I'm here. May I help you? Why is the system bound to me? Huang Tianyuan continued to inquire, and the electronic voice continued to answer. Well, dear, the system comes with the meteor shower, and you seem to be very free when you see the host, which is very suitable for traveling. So you are chosen as the host of the system, and the system is bound to your soul. Shocked by the arbitrary system binding host and the speechless response to a certain treasure body, your system is also capricious, but can you speak normally? Huang Tianyuan said helplessly, okay, and this system uses soul communication with you. The host doesn't need to speak, just silently recite the content that needs to be communicated with the system. After a series of inquiries, Huang Tianyuan accepted in his mind, no. It is because of the addition of such a fantastic system in the soul. Let's first introduce its current situation. It has been 5 years since Huang Tianyuan graduated from university. Although he did not become unemployed after graduation, he resigned automatically after working for only 1 year and 1 month. Afterwards, he dreamed of changing his career and moving towards a high-paying career in the IT industry. After more than a year of self-study, I confidently began my career search journey, but unfortunately it was a bumpy one. The interview opportunities are pitifully scarce, and they are coveted by unscrupulous training institutions. After being tricked into going to the interview, he was first mocked for his poor technical skills, then recommended training courses for him with a good appearance, and even wanted to help him apply for a loan. Huang Tianyuan's mentality collapsed at that time. Quickly retrieve the resume, grateful to the interviewer's family in my heart, and leave angrily. During this period, some friends also advised him to beautify his resume and fabricate his experience in the IT industry. But Huang Tianyuan, who has a tough head, said that he is an honest person, yes, no, he would rather not have a job opportunity obtained through lies. Then, there was no more. Although I have never stopped learning, I have always achieved nothing. It has been over 3 years and I don't have much income. Now I stay at home and only do household chores and farm work to the best of my ability. Now that he has obtained such a system, he can travel to another world. Huang Tianyuan knows that he has developed himself. The service provided by this Zhutian tourist system is to take you to travel to other worlds and become a plane traveler. There is currently only one world that can be visited, and that is the world of survival, right? A world similar to the game of the same name. After 1 month in real time, the system can connect to a new world, which means that the available travel list can be increased. The system provides 10 travel services to the host every month, with no restrictions on the world the host travels in, and everything is decided by the host themselves. The system also provides a thoughtful 6x6x6 storage space for the host to carry luggage, and the items in the storage space can be taken to the tourist world or back to the main world. The system will choose a safe place for the first time arriving in the tourism world, and there are no requirements for the host's behavior in the tourism world, but it is a thoughtful reminder. When the host dies, the system will choose the next host. When the host wants to return to the main world, there will be a 1-minute, 60-second countdown after contacting the system. On the next journey to this world, it will re-land from the previous return location. No matter how long the host stays in the world of tourism, one day will pass during each trip. Correspondingly, when the host returns from the tourism world to the next arrival in the tourism world, the time of the tourism world will also pass by one day. It sounds very catchy and difficult to understand. Give an example. The last time I left was May 2nd, 3000, and the next time I come back is May 3rd, 3000. This system is also boring, and surprisingly, there are still some system functions that need to be activated by the host themselves. What are the functions and how to activate them? The key is that you never know if you have activated all the functions. The world we can go to now is the world of survival, a game named Survival. In college, Huang Tianyuan often played this game online with his classmates. Four vegetable chickens were surrounded by various zombie groups and abused by various special zombies. Huang Tianyuan is a little worried. As a young man living in a forest, he grew up in a peaceful honey pot and traveled to the world on the road to survival. I'm afraid he didn't send vegetables. I don't know how to use firearms, and my physical strength is not good. I feel like it's not reliable at all. Let's ask the system and see if there are any solutions or beginner gift packages. System, are there any beginner gift packages or similar? The beginner gift package will be distributed on the first time you enter the world travel. Okay, I believe the system won't kill the host. Otherwise, if there is any travel experience, why not call it a travel system, call it killing the host system. But for the first time entering another world, you still need to be prepared. Huang Tianyuan rushed into the second floor to wash himself, muttering to himself, and then searched everywhere for self-defense weapons. The house I am currently living in is a 4-story rural self-built house built by my parents thousands of years ago next to the old house. Huang Tianyuan has an older brother and a younger sister, and the older brother lives on the 3rd floor. The 2nd floor belongs to Huang Tianyuan. The love of parents for their own children, although they despise their son's jobless and wandering state, still want to give their child a place to settle down. The house has been built and the preliminary decoration has been done, but there is not much furniture. After all, the cost of building a house is also quite high, which is also a big expense for a rural family. It is natural for oneself to bear the furniture and other expenses. Looking at the empty hall, Huang Tianyuan was lost in thought. Alternatively, you could buy some furniture from the world of survival and decorate this home first. Hey! Go find the old house. After a while of busyness, a thick-backed firewood knife, 2 kitchen knives, and a steel pipe were placed in front of Huang Tianyuan. Not reliable. The significance of bringing these things over is not significant. Although the storage space is 25 square meters, there is no need to bring some useless things over. Weapons should not be difficult to obtain in that world, after all, they can be found on the road. Why not prepare some food and water for zhaosuiyuan.com? But it doesn't need to be too much, you can also restock when you encounter a supermarket. In the end, Huang Tianyuan's travel supplies were as follows. 6 bottles of 1.5-liter Mofu Mountain Spring, 6 portions of 500 g bread, and 6 pieces of chocolate, 1 piece at a time, totaling 666 pieces. Huang Tianyuan felt that he was ready. The main thing is that the gift package of the system is not awesome, otherwise it would be useless to make more preparations at the beginning, and it would be a water test for the first time. But every time he teleports to a different world, no matter how long he stays there, a day will pass in the main world, so Huang Tianyuan is also prepared to nibble on bread there for more than 2 days. It's impossible to throw him into the zombie pile right from the beginning. The first teleportation location is likely to be a safe house, and then there will be weapons and everything. The biggest problem is still one's own problem. Playing games is one thing, because the game characters are almost never tired, have exceptional physical strength, and have crosshairs to assist in shooting. Everyone is a shooting expert. Having prepared the necessary supplies, laughs, and mentally, I made an excuse with my parents to go to my classmate's house and maybe come back in a day. After both parents go out to work, they run back to their own room to lock the door and close the curtains. Yes, my own room is the place where Huang Tianyuan chose to travel. After all, there are many people outside with mixed eyes, and I have thought about many places. It's not as safe as my own room. After all, the door is locked, so it's unlikely that there will be any accidents when you come back in a day. With excitement and nervousness, the communication system said, "Come on. Go to the world of survival. Now start counting seconds. 3, 2, 1. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 2. Survival at the Beginning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon regaining his senses, Huang Tianyuan found himself appearing in a room. Looking at the red iron door at the entrance, it was undoubtedly a safe house. With a great sigh of relief, Huang Tianyuan continued to observe the situation inside the room, including several single-person seats in cloth clothes with bloodstains. These were not the main points. The firearms and a pile of bullets placed on a long table caught Huang Tianyuan's attention. There are 3 firearms on the long table, 1 Uzi, 1 shotgun, and 1 automatic rifle. Staring for a while, Huang Tianyuan didn't rush to put these adrenaline-pumping items into the storage space. Instead, he immediately asked the system, "Where is my beginner gift package?" In order for the host to have a better travel experience, necessary force points are essential. The beginner gift package is provided as follows. Please choose 3 out of the following 5 options as the beginner gift package. 1. Proficient in firearms. You are proficient in various firearms. As long as you stay calm, you can accurately hit the target within the appropriate distance. 2. Master cold weapons. Grasp the weapon in your hand and you will know how to unleash its maximum power, rather than harming yourself. 3. Strong body. You are a strong person with twice the physical fitness of an average person. 4. Resistance halo. A permanent buff halo effect that, when faced with constraints, will release the constraint effect and bounce enemies closer to you for a certain distance. The effect is determined by the enemy's strength, with a minimum bounce distance of 1 meter. It is recommended that the host choose this option. 5. Focus. When you are focused on something, external influences have no effect on you, improving efficiency. Additional explanation. The beginner gift package is a benefit provided by the system, and there are no other gift packages available in the future. The system will refresh the list of skills that can be redeemed with points every month. The current host does not have points and has not opened them. Please explore the method of obtaining points yourself, and skills can be improved through practice. Personal information can be self-searched. After the host makes a choice, they can notify the system, and the system will immediately distribute the beginner gift package. It's quite user-friendly. Surprisingly, you can still choose which 3 of these 5. Huang Tianyuan fell into the troubles of happiness. Forget it, first take a look at your personal information. The system will immediately pop up a series of messages. Host. Huang Tianyuan power. 8 endurance. 6 agility. 5 health status. Good combat skill. None life skills. Level 2 culinary skills. The food you make can be considered delicious. Proficient in motorcycle driving. It seems that you have been riding your beloved motorcycle for quite a long time. The irrelevant information system has been automatically omitted, and the above attributes for normal people are all 8. Wow! It's simply concise and clear. The strength, endurance, and agility are not up to standard. Ignoring some strange things, Huang Tianyuan smiled bitterly and patted a large muscle on his stomach. It's no wonder that his good physical condition is already rare. If he wants his body's various attributes to reach the standard of an ordinary person or above, he is not a regular exercise enthusiast, and his thoughts are too beautiful. So, option 3, being physically strong is a must-choose option. After all, a good body is very important in such a bad environment. Next, option 4. Resisting aura is also the best option. Aura skills are very rare, let alone the several special zombies in this world that have control effects on their attacks. And these zombies are all dead silver coins. If one accidentally falls victim, there's nowhere to cry. 5. Focus is great, but it's not a necessary option right now. Option 1. Firearms mastery. With this skill, there is no need to spend time practicing firearms, and in this dangerous environment, firearms provide an unparalleled sense of security. The downside is that the sound of gunfire can attract the attention of nearby zombies, and if not careful, one may be attacked. Option 2. Cold weapon mastery. Although mastering may not sound as powerful as mastering, it can unleash the power of the weapon in hand without worrying about being harmed by one's own weapon. This is not that easy, and if you use cold weapons, even in close combat, the noise they make won't be too loud. As long as you are careful, there shouldn't be any problem. Moreover, the control of firearms can be fed with bullets. There are many bullets in this safe room. Practice and grasp as much as you can. After making a decision, Huang Tianyuan immediately contacted the system and said, "I have chosen options 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the gift package is being distributed." Then, Huang Tianyuan felt an electric current flowing through his 4 limbs and body, making him feel numb and uncomfortable. This feeling lasted for about 10 minutes. After this uncomfortable feeling passed, Huang Tianyuan carefully examined the changes in his body. It was not the feeling of muscle explosion in Westerners, but a smooth body shape that balanced strength and softness. One abdominal muscle on his belly had become a prominent 8, and his body muscles were slightly tightened, with clear lines throughout his body. Paired with dark skin, it feels like it's cast in steel. With a strong fist clenched, Huang Tianyuan felt the sense of power emanating from his hand. He punched the long table next to him, only to hear a sound of card rubbing, and his fist directly pierced through the table. "I am very satisfied with the destructive power caused by my fist, and the double physical fitness of an ordinary person is indeed useful." Huang Tianyuan's attribute bar has now changed to host. Huang Tianyuan strength. 16 endurance. 16 agility. 16 health status. Good combat skills. Resist aura, passive, master cold weapons. Life skills. Level 2 culinary skills. The food you make can be considered delicious. Proficient in motorcycle driving. It seems that you have spent a lot of good time on your beloved little motorcycle. I can't try the actual effect of resisting halos. Let's first try mastering cold weapons. After looking around and searching, Huang Tianyuan discovered an awkward problem. There is no presence of any cold weapons in this safe house. 10,000 alpacas are rushing past in my heart, wielding automatic rifles as sticks. Is this decent? Helpless, Huang Tianyuan could only pick up the shotgun on the long table, which should be the easiest weapon to master now. The attack distance won't be too far, but at close range, there's no need to worry about accuracy. Just pull the trigger forward. How about giving it a try? Glancing across the entire safe house, my gaze finally settled on a potted plant that had become lifeless due to the loss of human care. After a moment of hesitation, I aimed my gun at the potted plant and pulled the trigger. With a loud roar, accompanied by the smell of gunpowder, the potted plant was hit by bullets from a shotgun and fell to the ground, becoming numerous and riddled. Huang Tianyuan felt the recoil from his hands, without any pressure, and his strengthened physique perfectly swallowed the kinetic energy from the shotgun without even shaking his body. Looking at the dismal potted plant that had been shot down by a shotgun, the initiator showed no trace of guilt. He looked excitedly at the firearms in his hand and exclaimed, "Cool." Taking a few steps with a gun, he walked to the front of the safety door, intending to search for a target through the steel shooting hole on the safety door and continue to enjoy himself. Approaching the shooting hole and looking out, a pair of pale hands suddenly pounded hard on the safety door's shooting hole, startling Huang Tianyuan's buttocks. The gunshot just now attracted a zombie wandering nearby, smelling the smell of strangers inside and pounding the safety door with force. WTF. Subconsciously at the muzzle, he pulled the trigger on the terrifying face exposed at the shooting hole, bang, bang, bang until the bullets in the gun were emptied. Huang Tianyuan finally came to his senses. The zombie was hit and flew backwards in the first shot. The distance was too close, and the foul plasma splashed down Huang Tianyuan's face. An uncontrollable nausea surged in his heart, tilting his head and emptying the food residue in his stomach. Stumbling onto a single-person seat, with a blank head, there were indeed two worlds on and off the screen. Sitting in front of the computer, one could eagerly pull the trigger and kill a group of zombies. Now, with only one zombie killed, blood splattered on his face. Even if I had already made psychological assumptions before, I was still scared and nauseous when things came to an end. Shaking his head vigorously, he suppressed the bloody scene in his mind and gasped for breath. This is just the beginning, this is just the beginning. I can't bear the slightest bit of blood. How can I get what you want in this dangerous world? Think about it, this is a world waiting for you to be fortunate, you can do whatever you want here. Raising his hand, Huang Tianyuan gave himself two harsh slaps in the face. Stay awake, have you gained such a great opportunity? Are you willing to be ordinary and be a coward? Huang Tianyuan hypnotized himself time and time again in his mind. It has to be said that it is very effective. The nausea and palpitations in the heart slowly disappear, and are replaced by firm thoughts. Although it is possible to escape directly from this world back to the main world and wait for a month before having a new world to choose from, if you retreat once, there will be an infinite number of times. Who can guarantee that the next world will be safe? Everything will happen on the journey, so it is better to beg for oneself than to ask for others. Grasp the gun in your hand and who can stop me? With this in mind, Huang Tianyuan slowly stood up and walked to the long table. He picked out the ammunition from the shotgun and loaded it one by one at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Then, he returned to the safety door, continued to face the shooting hole, and pulled the trigger at the zombies who were attracted later. Bang, 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 with a hint of rhythm, the sound of gunfire echoed continuously. Whenever a zombie was hit by the terrifying range-killing power of a shotgun bullet in the design hole, the next zombie would fill its position, without any reason, full of madness. In contrast, the man pulling the trigger inside the door's gaze gradually calmed down until the waves remained calm. The process of reloading and shooting was repeated in this way, and after an unknown amount of time, the light gradually dimmed. As night fell, the nearby zombies seemed to have been cleared. No more lively zombies appeared in Huang Tianyuan's field of vision. The zombies who were knocked off the door and then died filled the large pit outside the door with unknown methods, and even piled it up into a small mountain peak, blocking the light at the door tightly. The gunfire inside the house had subsided, and there was a silence. Only the emergency light inside the house kept flashing, and Huang Tianyuan's figure also flickered under the flashing emergency light. After shaking his sore right hand a few times under prolonged shooting, Huang Tianyuan lifted half a bucket of water from the water dispenser in the corner, poured it on his head, and washed away the blood stains on his face. Ignoring whether it was clean or not, he walked over to the sleeping bag left by the previous survivor, got in and fell asleep. In my dream, there are still guns and fire, splattering blood and the terrifying faces of zombies. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 3. Leaving the Safe House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cautiously holding the shotgun in his hand, he opened the door of the safe house, and all the materials inside the safe door had been received by Huang Tianyuan into the storage space. It's already the third day of crossing over now. After waking up the next morning, Huang Tianyuan has been practicing his guns, Uzi, and automatic rifle to the point where he can basically make a hole in a zombie within 100 meters. As for where to hit, that's just a matter of fate. But my favorite is still a shotgun, because it's stable. Don't worry about accuracy. When encountering a brainless zombie rushing towards you, just aim roughly, pull the trigger within 10 meters, and the zombie will have only one outcome. Flying backwards and then posing in a strange and motionless position on the ground. On the third day, the 666 items I brought in the storage space have basically been depleted. It's time to go out and explore, otherwise I'll have to return to the main world. Step by step, Huang Tianyuan was like a ghost entering the village, sneaking around and observing every intersection. He also occasionally made a sudden turn, fearing that a zombie might suddenly emerge from behind and steal his butt. At this moment, Huang Tianyuan only had one thought in his heart: to sneak into the village and not to shoot. At the same time, his mind is highly focused, and any slight movement can stimulate him. The muzzle sways back and forth with his body, making people very suspicious. The next second, the muzzle will suddenly fire, leaving his exclusive memory on the things ahead. So, in fact, things around them are even more panicked than Huang Tianyuan, if they have thinking. Fortunately, perhaps it was the gun training in the past 2 days that attracted all the nearby zombies who could move. Although it took a full half hour to walk over 100 meters, everything in sight except for the ruins was empty. With a slight relief, Huang Tianyuan finally had the intention to observe the situation around him. The location seems to be somewhere on the outskirts of the city, as there are no tall buildings within sight. The tallest one is an 8-story building in the distance, and the billboard on the wall of the building is broken and can only be distinguished as a certain hotel. A gust of wind blew and swirled, flipping the pages of a magazine that had been lost to someone on the ground. Huang Tianyuan stepped forward to pick it up and looked around. Fortunately, the cover was a sexy bunny girl, released on August 15, 2022. It turned out that the world epidemic occurred after August 2022, so if you have time, you need to carefully understand the situation at that time. Put the magazine in the storage space and study it when you have time. Continuing forward, an automatic snack vending machine on the roadside caught Huang Tianyuan's eye. There are still goods inside, and although there are convenience stores on the roadside, they have clearly been looted after the outbreak of the epidemic. Huang Tianyuan approached and looked inside, and the shelves were all empty. Now this vending machine has something to fill its food reserves. Move the vending machine to the storage space and wait for a safe place to take out the snacks. No matter how violent it is when the time comes. A beautiful white small building appeared in the front, and Huang Tianyuan planned to go in and see what he could get. Arriving at the front of this small building, I first checked the windows and found no signs of breakage. Then, I circled around the building and found no danger. Returning to the front door of the small building, Huang Tianyuan slammed the door a few times, then leaned his ear against the door and listened for a while without any movement. Only then did he reach out and twist his hand onto the door handle. The door was not locked, and with a click, he pushed forward and the door opened. With the muzzle of the gun facing forward, I walked into the house and closed the door with my back hand. I walked cautiously inside. The lighting in the small building was good, and there were no dark places. Every corner of the building was inspected, and there was no threat. It was safe. Huang Tianyuan has just started his own material search work. I found a frying pan in the kitchen, picked it up and waved it a few times. After thinking for a moment, I felt a bit foolish, so I immediately put it down. The waving of the kitchen knife or something didn't go well, so I gave up. I found a set of olive player equipment in the miscellaneous room. I tried it on and it seemed to fit well. Put it on. I didn't find anything useful in the master bedroom, only some jewelry left by the hostess of the house, and took it with me. The things in the refrigerator are all broken, and only a few bottles of soda seem to be drinkable. I tried to open it and took a sip. Normal, nice. There was a small wine cabinet on the first floor. Wow, it's quite stylish, isn't it? I took all the unopened drinks from the cabinet and took them away. After searching this house, quickly switched to another one. So, after searching for about 10 rooms in a row, Huang Tianyuan roughly counted his gains. How many drinks, beer, high alcohol, 2 mountain knives, 3 pry bars, 8 gasoline cans, a few bundles of US dollars, 28 packs of snacks, obtained by breaking through the vending machine, and 5 guitars, ready to be taken back for gifting or other use. Anyway, for now, the storage space is also empty. The harvest is not good. We need to search for places like supermarkets, but these places must be densely populated, and it will be troublesome if we are surrounded by zombies. But the supermarket must go. The harvest obtained will definitely fill the storage space. I checked the ammunition situation and found that the shotgun is running out of ammunition. I need to add that in order to safely reach the supermarket, sufficient firepower is essential. I found a high ground nearby, but after being careful, I didn't say much. Looking around, I couldn't tell the direction clearly. I only knew that there was a small house about 200 meters away with a sign that read, Big Brother Gun Shop. Big Brother Gun Shop. Sure, is that you? It seems lucky, so I came to sleep with a pillow. I hope it's not hollow inside. Carefully touching over there, it started very smoothly. After walking more than 100 meters, he didn't encounter any zombies. Huang Tianyuan felt a little relieved, and there was a straight road ahead at the corner. Arriving at the corner, Huang Tianyuan had just poked his head out when he saw a thin monkey-like figure jumping up from the other side of the corner, with strange laughter in his ears. In the next moment, this thin monkey-like figure rode onto Huang Tianyuan's shoulders and wrapped its hands around his neck. The halo flashed, as if being hit hard by a sledgehammer. This thin monkey-like thing flew backwards, and Huang Tianyuan finally realized it. He lifted his gun up, bang. 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 It's just a triple shot. 2 shots hit the body, 1 shot hit the head. The figure of the skinny monkey was driven to continue flying for a few meters before it slammed to the ground with a loud bang and then stopped moving. Without much time to think, Huang Tianyuan changed his previous caution and ran towards the gun shop. At this moment, the roar of zombies had already sounded around, so he couldn't run away. Fortunately, there is only a straight road left, and the end of the road is where the gun shop is located, and there are no zombies wandering along the road. With strengthened physical support, it only took 9 seconds to reach a distance of 100 meters, and then the door was opened and locked in one go. The room was unobstructed, with no zombies present. I walked to the window and peeked outside. The corner was already filled with zombies, but no zombies came this way. My heart was pounding fiercely, as if I wanted to jump out and tell Huang Tianyuan, "Brother, you almost caught a cold just now. Take a deep breath until it completely calms down." After thanking himself for the strong resistance halo effect he had chosen, Huang Tianyuan carefully observed the situation inside the gun shop. The walls were filled with guns, all kinds of guns, and the glass counter was also filled with handguns. There is a piece of paper stuck in the center of the gun, which reads, "Brother who is lucky to be here, I hope you can bring as many weapons as possible, kill all these blue pawn things, and may God be with you. P.S. Don't lock the door when you leave." Below the font is a fist with bloodstains printed on it. This old man can be grand, but the people of this moldy country are indeed living in dire straits. Everyone can legally purchase a gun if they meet certain conditions, let alone firearms spread through underground transactions. It's not uncommon to have a gun fired if you don't like it. After sighing and sympathizing with the generosity of the characters, Huang Tianyuan quickly replenished his ammunition and replaced his firearms. The previous shotgun was discarded and replaced with a different type of short-barreled shotgun, with 1 in hand and 5 in the space. AK-47 also stuffed 6 magazines filled with bullets into the space. I also got 6 sniper rifles, corresponding bullets and magazines. For the pistol, I took 2 Desert Eagles, along with their corresponding magazines, bullets, and tactical daggers, and played with them. I also threw a few homemade grenades into the storage space, which should be the same as in the game. They can be thrown out to lure out zombies. I took off my rugby gear, changed into the camouflage clothes in the store, inserted 2 Sand Eagles into the holster around my waist, put on a bulletproof vest, and put on leather boots, gloves, helmets, and sunglasses. It has to be said that I have a complete set of equipment. Now Huang Tianyuan can fight a small battle, and having enough ammunition is confidence. Half of the ammunition is left behind, and I don't know if there are any successors, but being a person still requires conscience. It's not good to take all of it. The laser sights were also installed on all the guns, and the red dots were aimed at pulling the trigger, improving accuracy. Huang Tianyuan, who had changed his guns, went out from the other side of the gun shop and unlocked the door before leaving, just lightly closing it. Arriving at a high point, I distinguished my position on the map obtained from the gun shop. The nearest supermarket is 2 kilometers away from here. Let's clean up the zombies along the way first. Take out the sniper rifle, install the silencer, aim at the zombies that can be seen along the way, and roll them one by one. The shells fall to the ground. Many special zombies were found in the middle, and the bulky self-destructor had a clear target and moved slowly. Even if one shot missed, it could still explode with a few shots. Wearing a special zombie that looks like a parkour player is not enough. If one shot doesn't hit, there's no need to take the next shot. They made a leap and ran behind the building. There are also smoking ghost zombies standing on the roof with half a face covered in tumors, skinny monkey zombies bouncing around, red-haired witches crying on the street, drool monsters in the back of their heads visible when their mouths crack open, strong man zombies with a deformed arm that loves to charge, upper body muscles exploding, arms able to pound to the ground, and tank zombies moving with their hands and feet. With the presence of a silencer, even when observing special zombies, Huang Tianyuan wouldn't miss the opportunity to kill them. With sufficient firepower, as long as he doesn't lose sight, he can kill them, the only difference is how many guns he needs. Anyway, there are plenty of bullets, and Huang Tianyuan is not stingy either. Clear the zombies within range, and carefully touch the front of Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com to continue the previous monster clearing at the next high point. This cautious operation not only cleared the obstacles for the road to the supermarket. During this time, he discovered another gun shop that was not as friendly as before. The door was locked, so Huang Tianyuan had to take out his shotgun and fire a few shots at the door lock, kick it open, and then hurriedly enter and search. This time, there was no need to worry, just move this small gun shop empty, the storage space is full, and you can open an arsenal when you return to the main world. What made Huang Tianyuan even happier was that there was a safe house next to the supermarket. After searching for valuable items in the supermarket, run back to the safe house and you can go back to the main world. At a high point only 50 meters away from the supermarket, Huang Tianyuan filled up the previously empty magazines one by one. He casually threw away the hot barrel of the gun he had previously fired, fearing that there would be no replenishment on the way. There are many gun shops in Moldy Country. Continuing to name the zombies until they were no longer visible, Huang Tianyuan replaced them with M416 from a small gun shop, fitted them with a silencer and laser sight, and walked all the way to the front of this supermarket. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 4. Supermarkets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I looked up at the supermarket and then turned my gaze back to 2/3 of the rolling shutter at the entrance. After slamming the shutter a few times with force and waiting for a few minutes without any sound, Huang Tianyuan bent down and crawled under the shutter, then forcefully pulled it down to the bottom. After a piercing sound, the shutter completely closed and cut off the light outside the door. It's around 3 or 4 p.m. now, but inside it's a dimly lit place. Turn on the tactical flashlights on the gun and helmet, and Huang Tianyuan moves forward step by step, listening attentively. From time to time, he stepped on the debris that fell on the ground and made various strange noises, causing Huang Tianyuan's nerves to collapse even tighter. The shelves on both sides are scattered with goods, indicating that many people have visited here before, and many of the clutter on the ground comes from these goods. His line of sight was blocked by the shelves, and Huang Tianyuan was very worried that a zombie might suddenly appear. At the end of the shelf, there is a slightly open area. From the fruit pictures on the labels on the half-person high shelf, it can be inferred that this is probably the fruit and vegetable area. Push the half-person high shelves on both sides into a circle, take out 20 tactical flashlights from the storage space, open them one by one, and place them on the enclosed shelves to dispel the darkness ahead. Walk back to the middle of the circle, take out a guitar and place it under your feet, then grip the gun in your hand and play with your feet on the guitar. The guitar made an unpleasant sound, spreading far and wide in the open supermarket. After about 10 seconds, the movements of the feet stopped, but the guitar's sound did not immediately stop. The echo continued for a second before stopping, and the roar of zombies could be heard from all directions. Then, a running sound came, and then more than 10 zombies ran out from the surrounding darkness. Quickly pull the trigger and kill the rushing zombies one by one. After passing through the silencer, the dull sound of gunfire kept ringing. Soon, a magazine of 40 bullets was fired, and all the zombies in front, left, and right fell to the ground. There was a collision sound from the shelf behind, and the light of the flashlight shook. The body immediately turned back and the gun in hand was thrown forward. Suddenly, a mountain opener appeared in the hand, kicking a zombie that was about to approach. The zombie flew backwards and knocked down the zombie behind, with one on each side filling the empty space and continuing to pounce on Huang Tianyuan. Huang Tianyuan was not panicked, and the mountain knife in his hand swept forward. The powerful force drove the sharp mountain knife unstoppably across the necks of these two zombies, without any obstruction. 2 heads flew up, and the remaining body fell forward without a sound. Huang Tianyuan did not stop and charged forward for 2 steps, beheading the 2 fallen zombies with 2 knives and holding a knife flower in his hand, experiencing this familiar yet unfamiliar feeling. Continuing to listen carefully, a faint zombie roar came from the front left, and the body turned towards the other side, waiting for the upcoming zombie. Strangely, after waiting for a while, the sound was still there, but the zombie did not appear for a long time. No longer waiting, Huang Tianyuan picked up the gun that had been thrown on the ground, replaced it with a new magazine, and carefully walked towards the left front. After walking for about 50 meters, a zombie with blood and flesh on its feet appeared in front of him, struggling to crawl in Huang Tianyuan's direction, occasionally roaring and dragging a long dark red mark on the ground. Startled for a moment, Huang Tianyuan, who couldn't help but smile bitterly, shot and ended the tragic life of the zombie in front of him. The sound of gunfire fell, and the supermarket returned to tranquility once again. Obviously, there are only a few zombies left in the supermarket. After confirming his safety, Huang Tianyuan took a few strong breaths. The tense nerves relaxed, and a faint pain came from the brain. The sustained tension made the brain feel a bit overwhelmed. I haven't completely let down my guard. The dark supermarket makes me feel very insecure. By the way, large supermarkets should have emergency power supplies. Look for them. With such thoughts in mind, Huang Tianyuan began to search everywhere. After searching for half an hour, I finally found it in an inconspicuous place. I pulled up the switch and heard a faint roar from the diesel engine. Then, the lights on my head lit up one by one. Soon, the entire supermarket was brightly lit. Guangming brought a great sense of security to Huang Tianyuan, holding a gun to maintain basic vigilance and not daring to completely give up defense. With a strange thought in mind, he strolled around this huge supermarket alone, and I was indeed a lonely person. An electronic calendar in the digital electronic area told him the current date. May 18, 2023 at 6:34 p.m. It may have been only a few months since the outbreak of the epidemic. What a terrifying virus. Hey. This thing is good. Take it. Hey. This thing is also good. Take it. Along the way, while muttering to oneself, I stuffed the things I felt needed into the storage space. When the space was insufficient, I poured out the ammunition and other items I had searched for before, and then I kept repeating this process. If the storage space is large enough, then Huang Tianyuan will definitely empty this supermarket. But in the end, we can only face reality and make choices. After thinking about the usefulness that his empty house and various items could bring to him after building it, Huang Tianyuan decided to take 2 desktop computers and corresponding computer desks, 2 laptops, 2 fabric sofas, 2 55-inch LCD TVs, 1 digital camera, and 20 certain fruit phones with him. With some ammunition space reserved, the storage space was already full. If needed, you can come back next time. This supermarket won't run, Huang Tianyuan told himself. At this moment, his stomach made a gurgling sound, and Huang Tianyuan ran to the snack area again. He opened several packages of snacks and held them in his hand, eating while continuing to stroll around. This time, it was purely an aimless stroll. After finishing all the snacks on hand, I basically browsed through this supermarket and felt that it was not much different from supermarkets in the main world. There was no need to continue staying, so he prepared to leave. Turn off the emergency power first, it can be used again next time. Then I reached for the roll-up gate of the supermarket, listened to the situation outside, pulled it up a bit, and leaned down to look outside. It was pitch black outside. It's hard to say if the lights in the supermarket just now attracted zombies. Now it's pitch black outside, what's going on? Huang Tianyuan is troubled in his heart. I thought for a long time before I remembered the large bright flashlight in the supermarket. Yeah. Turning around and taking the strong flashlight, he bravely continued to open the shutter to half a person's height, crawled out, and then pulled down the shutter. Next time he came, there was no need to clean up the zombies. The switch of the large strong flashlight was turned on, and a huge and bright beam of light shone straight out, until it was blocked by a distant wall. Moving the flashlight left and right, as expected, the supermarket lights attracted many zombies, but it seems that there are no special zombies present. Attracted by the strong flashlight lights and the piercing sound of the shutter, nearby zombies ran wildly towards them. Putting the strong flashlight on the ground and shining it in the direction of the safe house, Huang Tianyuan first named several zombies in the direction of the safe house. With the help of a laser sight, this operation was not difficult. Then, while moving towards the safe house, shoot and kill the approaching zombies. In this situation of chasing after each other, the pursuing zombies gradually gathered together. Huang Tianyuan simply took out his shotgun and fired continuously, with a loud gunshot. After the bullets in the gun were all fired, only 5 zombies continued to chase, approaching within 5 meters. The gunshots were heard, and Huang Tianyuan had no worries. He pulled out the Sand Eagle from the holster and aimed at it, then pulled the trigger. The distance was so close that it was impossible to hit, and the zombies fell one by one. After all the zombies were killed, Huang Tianyuan had already run to the safety door. He neatly opened and closed the door, hung an iron pipe to seal the door, turned off the tactical flashlight on his head, and then sat down on the ground, plunging the room into darkness. The sound of zombies roaring and running outside the door was heard one after another. It was obvious that new zombies were attracted by the gunfire, and the strong flashlight light outside the door also disappeared. It seemed that the attracted zombies were attacking, and the outside was also plunged into darkness. Control your breathing and try to stay quiet. The sound outside gradually faded away, until only his own breathing could be heard, and Huang Tianyuan finally felt completely relieved. Unexpectedly, the most thrilling situation occurred at the end. Everything ahead went smoothly, causing Huang Tianyuan to underestimate the zombies and fall into danger just now. If there were any more accidents in the middle, such as a special zombie suddenly appearing, Huang Tianyuan's ending would only be death. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and think of a person who had just obtained the golden finger, crossed to the first world and then hung up. The ending is very good and powerful. Another thing is that the beginner gift pack chose to master cold weapons, but the most commonly used and useful weapon in this series of adventures is still firearms. If you had chosen to master firearms at that time, would adventure travel in this world be easier? While weighing the gains and losses, the system prompted the speaker, "Congratulations to the host for coming to a new safe house. Reward points of 10. The way to obtain points is actually to reach a new safe house, which is quite unconventional. Without considering the added points, Huang Tianyuan chose to return to the communication system and started counting seconds. After a long 60-second period, Huang Tianyuan disappeared from this world. In the room locked by Huang Tianyuan in the main world, a fully armed figure suddenly appeared. It was in the morning, and he threw the 2 sand eagles inserted on his waist into the storage space. He went to the bathroom and turned on the shower head, pouring water from head to toe. Then, he took off his equipment and clothes one by one and took a comprehensive bath, which was very enjoyable. After taking a shower and changing into casual clothes, Huang Tianyuan dried his hair and walked out of the bathroom, creating a feeling of being separated from the world. I greeted my surprised parents downstairs and immediately went upstairs. When they got to the bed, the next moment, a grunt sounded. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 5. Harvest and Summary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As time passed by for a whole day and night, when fish bellies turned white in the sky, the birds seemed to be at their peak of excitement, chirping non-stop. The person lying in bed finally opened their eyes and distinguished the surroundings, the familiar bed, the familiar empty room, and the familiar scenery outside the window. The journey of survival in the world's 3 days seems like nothing but a dream. But the storage space was full of items that told him to be sober. All of this was true. Take out the sofa, desktop computer, and other items from the storage space one by one, and arrange them according to your preferences. I went up to the 3rd floor and casually set up the remaining sofa, computer, and LCD TV. When the big brother comes back, he can do it himself. Parents don't often come upstairs. When they discover it, they will find an excuse to explain. Put the remaining tablets and digital cameras aside for now, and give them to my sister and brother when they come back. Returning to the 2nd floor, lying on the comfortable fabric sofa, Huang Tianyuan stretched lazily and reached out his hand. Immediately, a sand eagle appeared on his right hand. With a release of his hand, the sand eagle disappeared and transformed into a tactical dagger. With a flick of the dagger forward, the dagger disappeared, and the sand eagle reappeared in his hand. The storage and retrieval of items in the storage space were not delayed. If this can be fully utilized in previous battles, they can become simpler and more efficient. Call up the body information bar to view host. Huang Tianyuan strength. 16 endurance. 16 agility. 16 health status. Good combat skills. Resist aura, passive, master cold weapons, and become a beginner in firearms. Life skills. Level 2 culinary skills. The food you make can be considered delicious. Proficient in motorcycle driving. It seems that you have been riding your beloved motorcycle for quite a long time. There has been no change in body attributes, and a skill has quietly been added to the skill bar. Firearms beginner. You are no longer an outsider in firearms. Be confident that enemies who come recklessly towards you will not escape from your gun. Obviously, a large number of bullets that hit zombies in 3 days have taken effect. Stopped the hand movements and continued reading personal information, a new project. Points. 10. There is also a new list that the system can redeem for that month. 1. Beginner level unarmed combat. Points 20. You're only really good at fighting now, believe me, you could use it anytime, even in bed. 2. Firearms mastery. Points 50. If you are proficient in various firearms, as long as you stay calm, you will not miss the target at the appropriate distance. So take protective measures. Young man. 3. Beginner level vehicle driving. Points of 20. You can guarantee the normal driving of the vehicle on the road, but don't think about tailgating. 4. Riding. Points 20. You can ride freely on the mount, and of course, women can do it as well. 5. 3D map. Integral 100. Everything within a 300-meter range around your body can form a 3D map in your mind. Don't use it to create strange things. Although it's not a problem. Looking at these 5 options, Huang Tianyuan was drooling and wiped his mouth with his hand to remove saliva that did not exist. Huang Tianyuan rearranged the order of these 5 options himself. 1. 3D map proficient in firearms. 3. Unarmed combat. 4. Equestrianism. 5. Vehicle driving. Why does equestrian riding rank among vehicle drivers? Huang Tianyuan said that men need to ride. The redemption list will be refreshed next month. Before that, the minimum standard is to redeem the 3D map. By arriving at a safe house, you can earn 10 points, which means you need to reach 10 new safe houses. Is this an alternative way of checking in at a tourist attraction? Tourist location. Safe house. There must be other ways to obtain points, so it seems necessary to try more. Open a certain fruit phone casually, replace the phone card from the old phone to the new phone, and mark the correct way to open travel in the webpage search bar. But after reading many people's answers, I still feel my head is sticky. But these people have all mentioned taking photos, maybe we can take more photos to see. If you have a mobile phone, you can send one to your brother and sister first. Thinking of this, Huang Tianyuan went downstairs and rode his beloved bicycle onto the street, sending out 2 mobile phones. His strong body compressed the 30-minute journey into 10 minutes, his face not turning red and his breath not panting. I'm still worried that the bike might break down, and the speed is too fast and a bit drifting, otherwise this time could be reduced by 5 minutes. Huang Tianyuan is a cycling enthusiast, although he has not ridden any famous routes, he thinks so. In the past, if he had the current physical fitness, he might have done a cycling live broadcast and rode to various places, but now the attraction is clearly the world of survival. This time back, Huang Tianyuan thought he would take a longer break. What kind of negative impact will be left due to the experiences of the past 3 days? But there was no, even a faint desire to return to that world and continue the days of guns and fire. With a fierce tiger sniffing and kissing, Huang Tianyuan may be this kind of person. This desire is becoming increasingly strong, and it may fade after experiencing the erosion of time and frequency, but it is clearly not now. Riding on the bike, I looked at the shops on the street and saw pedestrians shuttling through them, creating a bustling and peaceful atmosphere. Accustomed to peaceful days, it seems that I still need a more exciting life. Apply force on your feet and the bike quickly moves away. After returning home, I didn't immediately embark on a second journey. I kept thinking about it like this, but it's not good. First, make a good plan, complete the planned tasks, and then move on to other things. With a rough direction, the next journey may be smoother. I had a steaming hot dinner with my parents, and it was obvious that my mother didn't understand his current appetite. After finishing the meal, she made a 6-layer full and cooked noodles herself before eating enough. Wash the dishes, then turn around and go back upstairs. I took out a notebook to write and draw for half a day, and then a pig's head appeared on the notebook. Black ? After waiting for a long time, you showed me a plan that wasn't agreed upon, you terrible old man, omitting 2,000 words here. Pi was very happy with this moment. He looked at the pig head on his notebook and couldn't help but laugh. Alright, the easy time is over. 1. You need to earn at least 100 points. A 3D map must be exchanged, and you can steal it and secretly observe the enemy. You can know every move of the enemy from a distance of 300 meters, and even the subtle expressions of the enemy can be seen, which is exciting to think about. If you want to get 100 points, then the known way to get points is to reach 10 new safe houses. So we definitely need to move forward all the way, and there's no reason to go back then. So what we need in the supermarket now needs to be moved to the main world first. There's no reason to look for another supermarket then. Although there are only 10 travel opportunities per month, it is still sufficient. The opportunity to travel will refresh next month. A new world will emerge, so reserve 2 opportunities to travel through it too. Conduct extensive firearms practice. Skills that can be fed with bullets can be done by oneself. Hands on your own can provide ample food and clothing, and points can be kept. When you see your desired skills or abilities, you don't have to look at them eagerly like you do now. It will definitely be useful in critical moments, maybe it will turn things around. 3. Cold weapons also require a lot of practice. Although using firearms is relatively safe, fighting with cold weapons is very reliable. The storage space needs to store other things, and there should not be too much space left for ammunition. If the bullets run out, cold weapons will come in handy. Although there are no specific moves, the basic attack techniques of cold weapons can still be practiced. Among the cold weapons, Huang Tianyuan likes to wield a knife and chop, so there's no need to think too much. Mastering cold weapons also allows for a perfect degree of force and angle in wielding knives and chopping. And it can prevent too much blood from splashing onto the body during the killing process. Although I no longer feel disgusted or afraid of blood, I am not a bloodthirsty demon if I can avoid it. 4. Find opportunities to engage in direct combat with special zombies, accumulate combat experience, and use elite monsters to achieve better results. Although constantly searching for high ground and long-range sniping can effectively clear zombies with high safety factors, Huang Tianyuan prefers assault, and the feeling of charging with a gun makes his blood boil and he feels incredibly comfortable. Moreover, more firearms and combat methods are also necessary. 5. Explore ways to earn points. Although it ranks 5th, it is also very important. Skills and abilities are acquired through points, and only with points can one become stronger. Thinking of these 5 points for now, input them into your phone's memo. There is also a mobile power supply in the supermarket, and you can find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com to ensure the normal use of your phone. Although I found it a bit troublesome to explain these sudden occurrences to my parents, I still came up with an explanation. Just say that I and my friends are planning to set up a certain treasure shop, selling electronic products, daily necessities, etc. Now I will use the vacant room upstairs as a warehouse. The items in the world of survival and the main world are basically the same, even some brands are almost the same. If we really want to make a certain treasure, we can make it happen. When the time comes, ask your sister and elder brother if they are interested. Buying without capital is not a loss. This can also explain why one often disappears and spends a day doing something. After thinking about things, Huang Tianyuan took out his mountain knife on the 2nd floor, waved it at the imaginary enemy for over an hour, and then took out his pistol to practice aiming. Sweating profusely, I ran into the bathroom to wash up and then went to bed early. The next afternoon, after having dinner, I explained to my parents with a well-thought-out excuse, and they were very happy. After all, it's a good thing that my son, who hasn't worked for many years, has started a business now. In the evening, I specially prepared a good table of dishes, and my father happily took a few sips of wine. I told my parents that I will go out tomorrow and be busy with business. In the morning, I locked the door again and entered the world of survival in seconds. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 6. Changes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Reappearing in the world of survival, with darkness both inside and outside, I slowly walked to the front of the safety door. Outside, it was quiet. Looking out from the shooting hole of the iron door, the darkness was like a terrifying monster devouring everything. I don't know how many zombies are wandering in the darkness. Going out at this time is very dangerous. Try to go out during the day and find a safe place to stay as soon as it gets dark. This is the wise move. Although he had just woken up in the main world, Huang Tianyuan forced himself to lie down and close his eyes to rest, unconsciously falling asleep until light shone through the shooting hole outside the door. Feeling the change in light, Huang Tianyuan, who was not sleeping peacefully, immediately opened his eyes. After standing up and moving around for a while, I took out the toiletries from the storage space and simply cleaned them. Bring the ammunition from this safe house. Huang Tianyuan took off the steel pipe from the door and walked out with a gun in hand. Day by day passed. In the safe house, a figure emerged. This is already Huang Tianyuan's 8th time traveling this month to come to this familiar safe house. In the previous journey, Huang Tianyuan first retrieved the ammunition thrown in the supermarket and placed it in a safe house. Then go out to hunt zombies. Every time, first find a high point to clean up nearby zombies to a relatively safe density, then hold the AK-47 or M41 and go straight to face the zombies. After there are a few remaining zombies, draw out the mountain knife and swing it forward. Stay for 3.4 days each time, then run into the supermarket to fill the storage space and return to the safe house to return to the main world. Stay in the main world for 2.3 days before returning to the world of survival. The idle rooms on the 2nd and 3rd floors are already piled up with goods, making it inconvenient to store things in the old house. Huang Tianyuan didn't plan on it. His parents were also confused about when he would move things upstairs, but they didn't ask too much. During this period, the older brother and younger sister called him to inquire about the situation after receiving their phones. Huang Tianyuan asked them to come back and showed them a plethora of goods. The older brother has no objection to his 2 rooms being occupied, while the younger sister exclaimed excitedly when she saw those high-end cosmetics and other things. Huang Tianyuan waved his hand gracefully and said, "You can use whatever you want here. You can go back and ask your colleagues and friends what they need. As long as you have it here, you can give it to them at a reasonable price, and I will share the money with you. I have a good source of goods, don't worry about the source, the quality is guaranteed, and there is absolutely no problem. You can call your parents then. I will teach them to be responsible for shipping to you." The older brother just nodded calmly and patted Huang Tianyuan's shoulder. "Okay, you kid, you've made such a big noise quietly. It seems my worries are unnecessary." The younger sister happily hugged a bunch of cosmetics and other things and ran back to her room. Then he jumped out and gave Huang Tianyuan a big hug. "Brother, you're so amazing. I'm going to get rich." After waiting for the older siblings to return, a series of orders came in. After spending a lot of effort teaching his parents how to pack and ship, Huang Tianyuan felt that it was time to start moving forward and strive to earn over 100 points before returning. The 8th time entering the world of survival happened to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. Huang Tianyuan pushed the door open and walked out. After a long battle, he became very calm, chewing gum on his mouth and walking with a relaxed and indifferent appearance. He walked 200 meters and killed dozens of zombies along the way. Huang Tianyuan's ear twitched slightly, indicating that there were strong zombies nearby. He had heard this deep roar many times before. Sure enough, the next second a big man with a deformed arm emerged from the corner and began charging when he saw Huang Tianyuan. "I think your little brain must be hot and dizzy." With a giggle, Huang Tianyuan didn't rush or slow down. When the strong man's zombie approached, he suddenly dodged and jumped 2 meters away. Then I watched as the burly zombie collided with a nearby power pole and stumbled. Drawing out his mountain knife, Huang Tianyuan slowly approached the zombie of the strong man, appearing calm and composed, pretending in one word. The strong man's zombie slowed down and saw Huang Tianyuan approaching. He swung his huge fist and hammered towards him. He dodged the fist swung by the giant Han zombie on his side, lifted his arm and stabbed at the back of the Khan's neck. He swung the knife back and forth, then immediately took a step back to avoid the splashing blood. The outcome has been decided, and the strong man's zombie fell to the ground without a sound, without even touching Huang Tianyuan's clothes. This kind of encounter is already a small problem for Huang Tianyuan. The most dangerous incident was when Huang Tianyuan used M416 to blow up a self-destructor, only to find a drool monster suddenly running out on the left side and spitting heavily at him. Friends should pay attention to hygiene and not spit everywhere. He hurriedly dodged on his side, spewing angry flames from the muzzle, and several times exploded the drool monster's head. As he angrily poured out ammunition, a skinny monkey zombie jumped onto his neck, trying to grab his free neck. Resisting the flashing halo, the skinny monkey zombie was bounced away. Before Huang Tianyuan could move his gun and shoot, a flying figure knocked him down and pressed him down. Just as he was about to attack Huang Tianyuan, he was shaken away by the resistance aura. Huang Tianyuan got up and started shooting at the parkour zombie continuously, shooting down the figure he wanted to jump away from in the air. Then, he hit the lean monkey zombie that was leaning towards him with one knee, moved the muzzle down, grabbed the trigger with his index finger, and cleared the magazine all at once. The skinny monkey zombie collapsed to the ground. Before Huang Tianyuan could take a breath, a sticky tentacle reached out and wrapped around his neck. Then, a force came from this tentacle, and Huang Tianyuan almost fell. Still resisting the halo saved him, shaking away the tangled tentacles. At this point, there was a noticeable bruise on his neck. Replace the AK-47 in the storage space and move it in the direction of retracting its tentacles, shooting wildly at a tall and thin zombie. The bullets poured out, making a clicking sound, and the smoker zombie fell to the ground. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, heavy footsteps could be heard from behind. The shouting came from Huang Tianyuan was grabbed by the large hand of the zombie rushing from behind, and then the strong man continued to charge forward. He was repelled by the impact of the resistance halo, and Huang Tianyuan in his hand flew out of his hand, falling heavily to the ground with a dull crackling sound. The AK-47 in Huang Tianyuan's hand also flew out of his hand. Huang Tianyuan, who had fallen hard, suppressed the pain and took out his shotgun, shooting it towards the strong man's corpse. The burly zombie did not dodge and was shot 3 times in a row before falling to the ground. Released the hand holding the trigger, and as soon as the gunfire stopped, the earth began to vibrate. Huang Tianyuan's face turned green. He pounded the ground with his gun and struggled to stand up, ignoring the AK-47 that had fallen to the ground. He limped along the road as he walked back and forth. The huge figure of a tank zombie emerged and chased after him. Then Huang Tianyuan was chased for 3 whole streets until he ran back to the safe house, closed the door, and the vibration on the ground slowly disappeared. At that time, I was depressed for a long time and couldn't figure out where so many special zombies had been hidden before. Huang Tianyuan, who had come back to his senses from his memories, took out his phone and took a photo with the strong man and zombie. The system sounded, "Congratulations to the host and charger for taking a photo successfully, earning 2 points. Repeating the same type of target is invalid." Huang Tianyuan's eyes lit up, and the zombie corpses on the ground next to him also took a photo together. Congratulations on taking a photo with the host and an ordinary infected person successfully, earning 1 point. Repeating the same type of target is invalid. Surprisingly, Huang Tianyuan did not ignore the system prompt that the same type of target was invalid. Just thinking about it, it's not reasonable to get points even if you encounter a zombie group photo. Zhutian System Integral reached 13 points. There's still a long way to go before reaching the 100 level. Suppress the ecstasy in your heart and continue moving forward. Huang Tianyuan's plan is to explore around the city and explore its edges. As we move forward, the buildings on both sides become lower and the number of zombies decreases. Under the muzzle of the M41 gun with a silencer installed, zombies wandering on the road collapsed one by one. Occasionally, it was discovered that there were swarms of zombies from Huang Tianyuan, but they did not form a large team. Under Huang Tianyuan's seemingly endless ammunition, they drank hatred on the spot. The two skinny monkey zombies encountered and one vomit monster became Huang Tianyuan's selfie background, providing him with 4 points. Unfortunately, a smoking ghost zombie standing on the roof collapsed on the roof after being killed. After putting in a lot of effort, there was nothing I could do, and I gave up the idea of climbing onto the roof. The cars along the way seemed to have been scrapped. I tried several times to turn the key left on the keyhole to start the vehicle, but most of them made no sound. A few of them heard the sound of starting a fire, but in the end, they fell silent. On the contrary, I found some mold in the car and threw it into the storage space without paying much attention. In the end, when he saw the vehicles on the roadside, Huang Tianyuan was too lazy to look. After passing a corner, a roadblock appeared on the road ahead, along with an ambulance with its doors open. Behind the roadblock was a huge tent. Among the dozen or so zombies, the most prominent were 3 zombies wearing full riot gear. While the other zombies were knocked down by Huang Tianyuan, they disregarded the flying bullets and rushed towards Huang Tianyuan. Along the way, they were knocked off balance by the kinetic energy of the bullets and fell to the ground. They immediately got up and continued to charge towards Huang Tianyuan. Finally, knock them down one by one and find the Shuyuan website www.zhaoshuyuan.com to tie their pushers together with ropes. While they were rolling into a ball, they took the opportunity to hit their backs with the stock of their gun before killing them and sweating profusely on their forehead. After taking a photo with their phone, congratulations to the host for successfully taking a photo with the anti-explosion police infected person, earning 1 point. Repeating the same type of target is invalid. The score reached 18 points. Obviously, the system recognizes the uniqueness of these ordinary zombies, and Huang Tianyuan is also happy to see them succeed. Seeing the strong defense of their riot gear, he forcefully took off the riot gear from one of the zombies, washed it carefully with bucket water, and threw it hard before quickly putting it on. Huang Tianyuan, wearing a complete set of riot gear, has greatly increased his confidence and feels like he is possessed by limbo. Then 2 first aid kits were found in the ambulance, a bottle of painkillers and a dose of adrenaline. Throw it into the storage space and then walk into the big tent. The rows of beds inside the tent are neatly arranged, and a chain saw is placed in the corner. After some thought, it was thrown into the storage space. In the middle of the day, find a place to rest and tidy up. I don't know if there is a safe house nearby, and there are no relatively tall buildings nearby. But standing high always allows one to see further. I found a 3-story small building, took off my riot gear, climbed up the roof with a nearby tree, and took out a telescope to observe. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 7. Moving Forward, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Climbing high and looking far has always been a popular activity among people from ancient times to the present day. With a broad vision, one can express their depression in the chest. If they shout loudly at this time, the effect is even better, and others will not harbor resentment towards it. But Huang Tianyuan doesn't have the courage, at least not yet. At that time, there will be 100 responses, even 1,000 responses, so what should we do? Although it's not empty, the homemade grenade lying in the storage space has not been used yet. A few bottles of high alcohol can also be turned into incendiary bombs. However, climbing onto the roof now is not to clean up zombies, so naturally I don't want to cause trouble. Observing around for a while, I saw arrow signs painted on the walls of the house in the direction of progress, with the big word "safe" written on them. It seems that my previous decision was correct. Even if I didn't come up to look like this, I could still find a safe house if I continued to move forward. After determining the next path, Huang Tianyuan relaxed and climbed down the roof to a room on the second floor. I didn't care about the layout of the room, so I took out the outdoor gas stove and a marching pot, cooked a large pot of fragrant noodles, ham sausages, eggs, and simple seasoning buns, and put them down all at once. I ate 8 layers full. Block the doors and windows, set the alarm on your phone, and after half an hour, vibrate to remind you. Leaning against the wall, close your eyes and take a short rest. Half an hour later, the vibration of your phone awakened Huang Tianyuan. The short half-hour rest has greatly boosted Huang Tianyuan's spirit. Put away your phone, gas stove, and marching pot, put on the riot gear you took off before, remove obstacles, and walk downstairs with a gun towards the designated direction. The explosion-proof suit gave Huang Tianyuan a great sense of security, and he did not act as cautiously as before, although he was also very arrogant before. After 2 corners, he finally arrived at the house where the arrow was located. Along the way, he encountered more than 10 zombies and did not take the opportunity to practice swordsmanship. A new safe house was waiting, all of them were solved with guns, aiming at the head and shooting as much as possible. Continuing to move in the direction of the arrow, we traveled a full distance of over a kilometer before finally seeing a safe house with a red iron door painted on the wall. What's frustrating is the witch with long red hair and long red nails sitting on the road in front of the safety door, covering her face and crying, immersed in sadness and unable to extricate herself. How can this be done? The previous high ground clearing monster left a deep impression on him, this kind of witch zombie. After being attacked by bullets, he was able to quickly react and find the direction of the bullets, screaming and running along the S-shaped route towards the direction of the sub-bullets. Several times, she reached the commanding heights downstairs and didn't want to fall down. Later on, Huang Tianyuan was not willing to provoke such monsters, it was too difficult to deal with. Although the safe house has 2 safety doors, both can be accessed. But the other safety gate is on that side of the block. It is easy to get lost by taking a detour, following the route of our predecessors, and finding a safe house is the easiest thing. So, things are troublesome. Killing this witch and taking a photo with her can earn you points and help you set up a gun at a high point, right? Subconsciously looking at the houses on both sides, it's too short. Wait for her to leave on her own. It seems like we need to cry for a while, the waiting time is unknown, and there are too many variables to wait like this. After touching the riot suit on his body, Huang Tianyuan finally decided to take a frontal approach. After killing several zombies who had spotted Huang Tianyuan and rushed over, the ordinary zombies in sight were also cleared. Kneeling on one knee, he took out his sniper rifle and aimed it at the witch's head. After firing 1 shot, he immediately switched to M416 and fired. The witch was hit on the head and screamed as if nothing had happened. She looked up at Huang Tianyuan, then stood up and ran wildly, still in an S-shaped position, in the group of 6. The bullet fired by Huang Tianyuan missed most of it, and after 2 breaths, it ran 10 meters away from where Huang Tianyuan was located. Without hesitation, Huang Tianyuan immediately switched to a shotgun and fired, bang. 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 It's just 3 shots. 2 shots hit head-on, 1 shot hit the left leg. However, the witch still charged towards Huang Tianyuan with a bullet and shot down the shotgun with 1 paw. Then continue to wave your claws towards Huang Tianyuan's head. With a backward tilt of the head, I dodged this paw as the crimson paw brushed against the transparent mask of the riot helmet. Huang Tianyuan took a step back and stood still, took out a metal baseball bat, and vigorously greeted the witch. The witch waved her claws, and Huang Tianyuan's baseball bat was lifted and smashed, like two crazy warriors fighting each other. "You catch me twice, I'll give you a stick, you come and go, never give in." In the end, the witch fell to the ground, and Huang Tianyuan was also very tired, panting heavily with a baseball bat supporting his body. After tapping 12 times with all her strength, she finally knocked the witch down, and her chest was covered in scratches. The combat power of this witch once again refreshed Huang Tianyuan's understanding. After breathing for a while, Huang Tianyuan took out his phone and took a photo with the witch. The sound of the system echoed in the brain as expected. Congratulations to the host for taking a successful photo with the witch, earning 3 points. Repeating the same type of target is invalid. The score increased to 21 points. The nearby zombies were attracted by the sound of gunfire and were getting closer. Huang Tianyuan immediately picked up the shotgun on the ground and rushed towards the safe house. Along the way, several approaching zombies were bombarded with shotguns and successfully entered the safe house. Obtained 10 points of points again, and the points increased to 31 points. Lock the safety door with steel bars, sit on the seat, take out the chocolate and chew a big piece with force. Swallowed all the chocolate in his stomach, continued to take out a bottle of water, and looked up to blow. After finishing all of this, Huang Tianyuan began to observe this safe house. Unlike the previous safe house, ammunition was piled up on the ground and several guns were placed on the gun rack against the wall. "I don't plan to leave today, let's wait tomorrow morning. Take off your riot suit, the clothes inside have been soaked in sweat. Take out a pair of slippers from the storage space and put them on, then drag down all the remaining clothes and throw them against the wall." Shi Shiran walked to the corner of the wall, took out the bucket of water and a towel, raised the bucket of water with one hand, dripped it directly from the head, and kept wiping the body with a towel in the other hand. Use up all the water in one bucket, throw away the empty bucket, dry your body, and change into casual clothes. I also washed the riot suit I took off with water, and after cleaning, let it dry on the side. Then, I took out a lounge chair and lay down. It's not over yet. I pulled over the seat next to me, took out a pile of snacks and drinks, and put them on it. I took out a pack of snacks and started eating. Huang Tianyuan felt that he had just come to life completely. When it was time to relax, he could relax to the fullest, feel refreshed, and start the next challenge with full energy. Huang Tianyuan has always come this way. Time passes by while eating, drinking, and eating, and the light disappears completely as the sun sets outside. Huang Tianyuan blocked the 2 safety doors with debris inside the house, and sealed the shooting holes on the doors with paper. Take out a strong flashlight, turn on the switch and shine it towards the wall, making the safe room bright. After taking out the outdoor gas stove and marching pot, I continued to cook a pot of noodles. After finishing, I rested for half an hour and took off all my clothes. I took out the medicine for soothing the meridians and activating the meridians and applied it or patted it on my body. After doing this for a quarter of an hour, Huang Tianyuan took out his clean sleeping bag and directly crawled in. He reached out to grab a strong flashlight and turned off the switch, and suddenly the safe room returned to darkness. The mobile alarm clock rang at 6 o'clock in the morning and crawled out of the sleeping bag, tearing open the paper on the shooting hole of the safety door. It's already daylight outside, so we can set off for the next safety gate. After a simple wash, I cooked congee for breakfast. Everything is ready, take the lounge chair, gas stove, and sleeping bag back into the storage space. Put on the dried riot suit, grab the gun, remove the obstacle on the other side of the safety door, and push the door out. Pulling the trigger repeatedly, several zombies burst their heads and looked up at the current sky. The sky is closed with dark clouds, and the clouds are constantly moving and rolling. It seems that today is not a good day for travel. Let's take a longer walk before it rains. Stepping forward with great strides, the speed subconsciously increased. Dealing with hospitable zombies all the way, Huang Tianyuan wasted a lot of effort. After passing through 3 forked roads, he took the wrong direction twice and retreated when encountering obstacles. He had no intention of climbing over the obstacles, and his current goal is to reach the safe house to earn points. At the 4th fork in the road, rain fell. The pouring rain separated Huang Tianyuan from heaven and earth, leaving only a little shadow on both sides of the buildings. The ears were filled with the sound of rain splashing and raindrops hitting the helmet, as well as the crackling sound on the transparent mask. Lift the mask that obstructs the view in the rain and continue moving towards the intersection on the right. As Huang Tianyuan advanced, blurry figures kept popping up in front of him, not easily shooting. After all, there were still survivors in this world and city. If it were at the beginning of the crossing, only a barrage of bullets would be able to greet it. Now, there is still confidence and courage. In fact, there are people like Huang Tianyuan who stand in the rain, but Huang Tianyuan does not have that luck, and the feeling of meeting zombies in the rain is not good. The heavy rain seems to have also had an impact on the activity of the zombies, mostly standing dumbfounded, occasionally bending down and vomiting some unknown liquid. The previous situation of rushing forward disappeared. It wasn't until Huang Tianyuan approached them at a distance of 2.3 meters that he seemed to wake up suddenly. He either looked up or turned his head to look at Huang Tianyuan, then moved his body to prepare to pounce. However, before they could pounce, Huang Tianyuan, who recognized their zombie identity, would send them a bullet in advance, passing through their heads and leaving a hole. Until the gun in hand seemed to be malfunctioning and the trigger was pulled, the bullet did not shoot as usual. Huang Tianyuan then threw his gun away, took out his mountain opener and held it in his hand. He took 2 steps forward, dodged the zombie's outstretched claws on his side, and then swung his knife hard to cut off the zombie's neck. Without taking out any new firearms, Huang Tianyuan continued to hold his knife and walked about 50 meters. An obstacle appeared in front of him, indicating that his choice was wrong. Forget it, let's take shelter from the rain for now. He walked towards a blurry shadow on the right, and soon a door appeared in front of him, with other parts of the building appearing faintly in the rain. I twisted the door handle forward, it was locked and couldn't be turned. Looking for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, I took out a pry bar and forcefully smashed it towards the top of the door lock. A hole appeared on the door panel, and I reached in to open the door. After entering the door, I locked it again. After routine elimination of hazards and inspection of hidden dangers, Huang Tianyuan discovered the uniqueness of this house, which is twice the size of the houses he had searched for before. Most importantly, he even found the backup power switch button, pressed the button, and turned on all the lighting fixtures inside the house. How to describe it? Rich and magnificent, high-end and upscale, 2,000 words omitted here. A little surprised by the magnificent decoration of the house, Huang Tianyuan also discovered something that surprised him very much. A long sword with a scabbard, which was placed on a shelf in the hall. With both hands outstretched, the long knife and scabbard came down from the shelf together. The left hand tightly grasped the scabbard, and the right hand slowly pulled out the scabbard while holding the handle. The snowy knife light slowly emerged, with a length of about 75 centimeters. The handle was treated with anti-slip, and there were circles of patterns on it. Whether holding the knife alone or with both hands, waving it gives a smooth sense of flow. Obviously, this is a very excellent weapon. Huang Tianyuan, who had obtained a new weapon, was very excited. In his previous battle with the witch, if he had this sword, Huang Tianyuan was confident that he would be able to kill it after 3 strikes. Holding the long knife, there was an impulse to wave it vigorously. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 8. Moving Forward, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The scabbard was placed in the storage space, holding the long knife in his hand. Huang Tianyuan changed his mind to avoid the rain and continued to move forward, just in time to try the knife in his hand. The riot suit on my body is a bit troublesome, and I can't wave my knife freely. Take it off directly and throw it into the storage space. Turn off the backup power in the room, open the door, and walk into the rain curtain one by one. Huang Tianyuan walked back with a knife to the fork in the road and walked into another intersection. All the zombies he encountered along the way were casually chopped by Huang Tianyuan. He savored the feeling of each knife passing over the zombies from the blade or tip, and gradually the long knife in his hand seemed to become an extension of his arm. Step by step, repeating the steps, wielding a knife, until the heavy rain suddenly stopped, the dark clouds dispersed, and the sun shone again on the earth. The surrounding zombies recovered from confusion and rushed towards Huang Tianyuan together. The dazzling sunlight awakened Huang Tianyuan from that captivating state. Looking at the zombies rushing towards him, he frowned and clenched his knife even harder. He swung his knife forward with force, with the tip of the knife cutting through the necks of the 3 zombies rushing forward, causing them to fall forward. With all his might, he charged forward through the gap where the zombies had fallen, and met 1 or 2 zombies who held their swords in both hands. A long slash slashed through them, leaving huge slashes on their bodies. Fall backwards in the body. Huang Tianyuan's left eye scanned the left and rear, with 2 zombies, one on the left and the other behind. They were already very close to him, and their claws would reach out in the next second. Swinging the long sword vigorously in his hand, with his left foot as the center of gravity, he quickly rotated his body, and the long sword swung a half circle over the heads of the 2 zombies. The zombies fell to the ground one after another, and soon only Huang Tianyuan stood around. He looked left and right, took out the scabbard, inserted the long knife into the scabbard, and then placed it in the storage space. He took out his riot suit and put it on again. He took out a brand new M41 and installed it with a laser sight and silencer. The knife can be practiced later. Now that the rain has stopped and there is no obstruction to the line of sight, it is still more efficient to use the gun. Keep going. Stepping on the wet ground, Huang Tianyuan, who was also wet all over, began to trot forward. Move along the road and shoot the zombies on the road ahead. The indicator signs that occasionally appear on the road are the rough direction provided by Huang Tianyuan. Without stopping, I ran for over an hour and finally arrived at a new safe house, earning 41 points. Take off damp clothes and shoes in a safe room, rinse them, and change into casual clothes and sandals. Huang Tianyuan has once again become that carefree cub. There are still 3 hours left until dark, and he doesn't plan to continue moving forward. The risk of walking at night is too high and not worth it. 1 safe room a day, make this your goal first. Take the knife out of the storage space, pull it out of its sheath, and carefully examine it from the blade to the blade before your eyes. Huang Tianyuan really likes this style of knife, and when he holds it, he feels like he won't let go. This knife has gone through a short battle, chopping through dozens of zombies. The blade is still sharp, and the blade is snowy bright, seemingly without any traces left by the battle. Huang Tianyuan decided to use this type of knife in future battles with cold weapons. He practiced wielding the knife for an hour every day, trying to familiarize himself with the feeling of the knife chopping in his hand as much as possible. With a lot of practice, let's use the knife to form a physical memory. Huang Tianyuan doesn't understand any knife techniques, but knives are killing creatures, and sharp blades are meant to split open targets. Even simple chopping can cause huge damage. Let's start from today. With a slight stab in his legs, he lifted his sword high with both hands and vigorously chopped forward, counting 1, 2, 3. In his mouth for 1,000 times, then practiced horizontal, oblique, and upward thrusts without anyone to teach. One can only practice the most basic attack methods. The light coming in from the shooting hole of the safety door gradually dimmed. The knife was slowly retracted, and a clean towel was taken out to vigorously wipe the blade. Carefully, the knife was placed back into its sheath. Huang Tianyuan breathed a deep sigh of relief. Although he planned to practice for an hour, he unconsciously realized that he had been practicing for a long time, with sweat marks around his feet. I looked at the sky outside through the shooting hole of the safety door, and it was not far from complete darkness. Covering the shooting holes on both sides of the doors to prevent zombies from disturbing their dining time. I took out the gas stove and marching pot to make a pot of rice, threw away 2 sausages, and chopped an onion before steaming it together. Eating noodles all the time is not a solution. The storage space has left a lot of space for food. After experiencing battles, what is more relaxing than a delicious meal? It seems like there really is, for example. He. After finishing, Huang Tianyuan checked the condition of the materials in the storage space, filled the empty magazine with bullets one by one, and took out the firearms one by one for maintenance. I didn't originally plan to maintain the firearms, even if they break down, they just need to be replaced. I replaced my M416 with a new one today, but it doesn't feel good to the touch. So now, pick up the maintenance firearms as well. After this operation, the night grew deeper. Rinse your body, wipe it dry, apply relaxing and invigorating drugs to your whole body, and then turn off the lights to sleep. The night passed quietly. In the early morning, Huang Tianyuan, who had pushed open the safety door on the other side, walked out fully armed, his gun shifted, and after greeting several enthusiastic zombies, he continued to move to the next safety door. Along the way, encountering several ordinary zombies, taking a photo with 2 smoking ghosts earns points +2, taking a photo with 1 parkour zombie earns points +2, and taking a photo with 4 self-destructing zombies earns points +2. The total number of points reached 47. The difficulty of taking a photo with a self-destructing zombie is the greatest, and when I think of it, I am filled with tears in my eyes. The first time encountering a self-destructing zombie, Huang Tianyuan instinctively threw a bullet over, boom. The body with only half body is clearly not recognized by the system. Aiming at the head for the second time and shooting, after falling to the ground. Boom. For the third time, Huang Tianyuan wanted to limit his freedom with a rope and take a group photo as a souvenir. The plan was good, but unfortunately, as soon as I approached, I was sprayed with a pale green disgusting liquid. Anger surged and a bullet hit me, causing me to be shocked by being too close. Then a bunch of ordinary zombies emerged from somewhere and crazily surrounded him, so he had to take out his long sword and slash wildly. After breaking out of the encirclement, he took out a bucket of water in the corner to wash himself clean, and the zombies finally stopped their madness. For the 4th time, Huang Tianyuan behaved well and avoided the disgusting liquid vomited by the self-destructing zombie. He wrapped a rope around his neck and tied his hands and feet to a power pole, successfully taking a group photo to commemorate his success. Then go further and turn around to aim and shoot a shot. Boom. Huang Tianyuan said that this is the most pleasing fireworks today. Now the only ones who can earn points by taking a group photo are tank zombies. Tank zombies are so powerful, I believe they can earn points of 3 or more. After all, the witch zombie also gave 3 points. Thinking about things, Huang Tianyuan casually glanced at the houses on both sides. There is a red iron door on a house. I didn't care, I continued to walk forward and walked out about 10 meters. Suddenly awakened. Isn't that a safe house? Hurry back, open the door, enter the house, earn 10 points, and the total score reaches 57. Breaking through the 50 points mark made Huang Tianyuan very happy. He took off his riot suit and wanted to throw it away directly, but he didn't have any spare items. He had to carefully wash it and let it hang on the side. He took off all his clothes and threw them outside a safe house. Afterwards, it's time to practice swordsmanship, eat, apply medicine, and sleep. The next day, Huang Tianyuan thought everything would be the same as before, and he could easily find 5 new safe houses and exchange them for 3D maps. However, reality is not entirely satisfactory. Starting in the morning, after going through hardships, countless zombies were shot and killed, including 2 skinny monkey zombies, 1 parkour zombie, for self-destructing zombies, and 2 drool monsters. A witch bypass a witch. The endpoint that follows the mark is a road intersection leading to the suburbs, with a large arrow pointing towards the direction outside the city and a simple car pattern painted next to it. Obviously, if we continue to follow the instructions, we will go through a very long journey, at least not easily achievable with our feet. However, thinking about it is also true. With the outbreak of the virus, most people have turned into zombies and attacked humans everywhere. There are also special zombies that make people afraid. Cities are no longer suitable for survival, and moving out of cities is the trend. At that time, the only choice for survivors was to run to cities where there was no outbreak of the virus, or to official safety zones, where safe houses were just transit points. But there cannot be only one evacuation route. After all, there were many survivors in the city at that time, and it was unlikely to gather together for evacuation. Finding a safe house at Zhuyuan www.zhaozhuyuan.com cannot accommodate so many people, and the maximum size of the safe house is around 20 people. Even if evacuating in batches, there is still a limit on the number of people. After all, the time is too long, and those who fall behind will definitely not want to. There must be at least 5 evacuation routes in this city. And the final evacuation points will be on these exit roads, and survivors will use transportation to reach the designated places. After careful consideration, Huang Tianyuan plans to return to the nearest safe house and the next day find transportation around the city to search for evacuation points. After making the decision, Huang Tianyuan looked deeply at the arrow pointing towards the end of the road. He turned around and rushed back, wanting to hurry. Time didn't wait. We rushed hard and slowly all the way, but fortunately, the cleared road did not have a large number of zombies wandering over. We finally managed to return to the safe house before dark. I didn't expect to come back here. Is this fate? It seems that today's exercise time needs to be compressed. Huang Tianyuan took out his knife and practiced for about half an hour. He ate, took a shower, applied medicine, and then got into his sleeping bag. He considered transportation issues in his sleeping bag, and the cars on the road were definitely not good. It's highly likely to break down and waste facial expressions. It's better to go to some houses with garages, and I believe you'll soon find a satisfactory means of transportation. Thinking about things, you'll unconsciously fall into a sweet dream. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 9. New Safe House Route. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Opening his eyes, it was another day full of vitality, without worrying about yesterday's gains and losses. Huang Tianyuan slept very well. Push open the safety door and follow yesterday's plan to go door-to-door along the road you walked yesterday to check for cars. Fortunately, after inspecting only 8 houses, an intact Harley motorcycle was found in the backyard carport of one house. The owner clearly took good care of the car and maintained it well. Although there was dust all over his body, Huang Tianyuan found the key and inserted it into the keyhole. After turning it open, he ignited and refueled, and in an instant, a deep roar sounded. The dial showed that the oil was full, but Huang Tianyuan still picked up a bucket of gasoline in the garage before shifting gears and turning the throttle to explore the city's edge from the backyard onto the road. The roads along the edge of the city are still relatively smooth, with occasional cars blocking the middle of the road. You can also go around from the edge, but if it's not possible, you can drive directly to the grasslands on both sides of the road. Riding on my beloved little motorcycle, it will never get stuck in traffic. Huang Tianyuan, who was humming a song, didn't pay attention to the zombies waving their hands and wanting to take a ride on both sides. The zombies were very unwilling and ran after the car for a long time. All the way, they wanted to eat Huang Tianyuan. Occasionally, a few zombies who ran from the front to the vicinity of the motorcycle were also pulled out by him, and he gave them a free bullet before reluctantly lying down and dispelling the idea of hitchhiking. The weather is nice today, it's a great day for cycling, but unfortunately the scenery on both sides is not very beautiful. Huang Tianyuan is cycling while patrolling from side to side. I want to find artificially made marks so that I can follow the clues and find a new safe house. But after more than an hour of hard work, there was still nothing to be gained. It seems we need to go further away. Shifting and accelerating, the roar of the motorcycle intensifies, and the speed suddenly reaches another level. The feeling of reaching out and the gentle breeze blowing through the palm of the hand is, well, it should be C. Finally, half an hour after accelerating, Huang Tianyuan rediscovered the markings made by the survivors, but strangely, the direction indicated by these markings was actually in the direction of the city center. Is there also an evacuation point in the city center? How did you evacuate? Is it a rescue helicopter? Without much thought, I rode in the direction indicated until I encountered a situation where I had to stop at an intersection. A very tragic accident occurred ahead, with cars, motorcycles, vans, and small trucks. The number cannot be counted because they were all crowded together and only debris remained. It is densely packed and very shocking. In my mind, there is a scene where everyone hurriedly flees. Some may want to escape, some may want to search for family and friends, all anxiously pressing the accelerator and not letting go. A small car may be trying to avoid a zombie suddenly rushing out of the road, colliding with a vehicle coming from the opposite direction, and then the situation completely loses control. One car after another either collides directly without braking, or avoids too much and flips over, tightly packed together. Then the vehicle with a broken fuel tank exploded, causing a big fire. Standing in a daze for a while, Huang Tianyuan put the motorcycle into the storage space and walked towards an 8-story building next to him. After encountering dozens of zombies on the stairs and ending up with their heads blown out, Huang Tianyuan opened the door to the rooftop. A few zombies stood on the rooftop, looking at the distant zombies in confusion and being awakened. Those who hadn't turned their heads yet received one or a few bullets, while the unlucky ones picked them directly from the rooftop. After a while, a dull sound came from behind. After cleaning, close the rooftop door and block the entrance with debris. Take out the telescope and look towards the ruins of the vehicle. The vehicle was burned thoroughly, basically leaving only the frame, and the power of nature is even more evident here. The seeds brought by the wind settled here, and the weeds grew here, not very lush and sparse. Is this the rebirth in destruction? Suppress the shock in my heart. Huang Tianyuan focused his attention on the surrounding zombies. There has been a significant increase in the number of zombies, but nearby high-rise buildings block a lot of view, making it difficult to determine the specific situation of the zombies. For safety reasons, let's first clean the zombies in sight. Although it will take a lot of time, it is also worth it. After making up his mind, Huang Tianyuan took out his sniper rifle and focused on cleaning up the zombies in his sight. After all the zombies in sight lay down to rest, Huang Tianyuan quickly returned to the ground and carefully crossed over the creaking car wreckage. Come to the other side of the road. Release the motorcycle. The roar of the motorcycle rang out, and many zombies suddenly appeared in the shadows on both sides. Huang Tianyuan quickly throttled hard, the rear wheel told to turn, and friction with the ground made a hissing sound, then suddenly rushed out quickly. Along the way, the zombies on both sides were thrown far behind before they could react. It wasn't until I saw the safety house pattern on a 5-story house in the distance that I slowly stopped in front of it. Put the motorcycle back into the storage space again, lift the gun and climb up the stairs from the outside. On the rooftop, you can see the safety house built on the rooftop, standing in all directions within the rooftop. It looks like an illegal building with a length of 6 meters and a width of 5 meters. Without rushing in, I first circled around on the rooftop to observe the illegal building. No, Behind the safe house, an aluminum alloy ladder was erected on the edge of the rooftop of this house and a nearby house, and was simply fixed on both sides of the ladder with stones. The surrounding buildings appear a bit dense, with a gap of only over 2 meters between the two houses. It seems that we may need to navigate through the gaps in the buildings in the future. After observation, entering this safe house, one immediately earns 10 points, with a total of 67 points. The goal is not far from being achieved. All the way was by motorcycle, and Huang Tianyuan didn't feel tired either. The position of the sun in the sky indicates that there is still some time before it gets dark. But as we walked forward, we didn't have time for lunch. Although we secretly stuffed a lot of snacks into our mouths, we still felt hungry in our stomachs. After a simple but not minimalist meal, Huang Tianyuan lay comfortably on the lounge chair and took out the beauty magazine to read with enthusiasm. The hot figures of the beauties in the magazine left him amazed and amazed. After relaxing for an hour, I put away my magazine, took out my long knife and practiced the technique. Then, I ate, took a shower, applied medicine, and slept, living a monotonous and fulfilling life. Another morning, after breakfast, Huang Tianyuan pushed open the safety door and arrived at the edge of the rooftop. Feeling the wind blowing over his casual clothes and making a hunting sound, the wind on the rooftop is a bit noisy. After muttering to himself, Huang Tianyuan didn't set off immediately. He had just finished breakfast and shouldn't run immediately. After resting for half an hour, Huang Tianyuan put on his riot suit and prepared to set off. He came to the front of the ladder between the two houses, looked at the distance between the two houses, and saw the seemingly unreliable ladder. After thinking for a moment, let's skip this distance. With a run up, take off, and easily cross over to the rooftop of the neighboring house. After landing, take 1 or 2 steps forward before stopping. From the stairs on the edge of the house down to the ground, the place is already a small alley, with light covered by dense houses, making the alley look very eerie and terrifying. Turn on the tactical flashlight on the gun, with the muzzle facing forward and moving in the direction indicated by the mark. Occasionally walking to a dead end, although helpless, I quickly turned back and headed in the right direction. Turning around 7 times along the way, encountering zombies at the corner is even more common. Huang Tianyuan was used to it, and there was another turn ahead, just when he thought he would meet an ordinary zombie. A meat wall lay in front of him, and a tank zombie silently crouched here, ambushing him. After the appearance of the tank zombie in Huang Tianyuan, the giant fist was raised and fiercely smashed down. Huang Tianyuan cursed in his heart and quickly retreated to the other side of the corner to avoid the attack of tank zombies. The fist landed on the ground with a loud bang, causing the ground to crack. The figure of Huang Tianyuan was lost in the field of vision, and some tank zombies chased towards the direction where Huang Tianyuan disappeared. Huang Tianyuan fought and retreated while fully utilizing the essence of guerrilla warfare, gradually grinding away the health points of tank zombies. In a relatively long alley, Huang Tianyuan quickly ran to the exit of the alley and blocked in front of the exit, waiting for the appearance of tank zombies. When the tank zombie appeared at the corner of the alley with the tremor of the ground, Huang Tianyuan immediately pulled the trigger and fired in succession. The tank zombie roared and surprisingly pulled out a large piece of cement road surface with his hand, throwing it towards Huang Tianyuan. Huang Tianyuan was startled and quickly disappeared from the exit. In the next second, the cement road passed by him and hit the wall opposite the exit, splashing with gravel. He was startled to break out in a cold sweat by visiting Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. After being frightened, anger erupted and he reappeared at the exit, desperately pouring bullets onto the tank. After pounding the chest with both hands, the tank zombie continued to chase after Huang Tianyuan, relentlessly fighting until death. Quickly, the bullets in the magazine poured out, although my heart was angry, it had not yet reached the point of losing its sanity. Huang Tianyuan continued to run backwards, taking out new magazine clips while running, and then turned around to wait for the tank to appear before continuing shooting. After chasing and fleeing for a long time, Huang Tianyuan realized a helpless fact that he had returned to his starting point when the tank zombie collapsed weakly to the ground. He fiercely kicked the corpse of the tank zombie several times, venting his anger. Taking a group photo with his phone, he earned 4 points and a total of 71 points, which relieved his depressed mood. Helplessly continuing to make 7 turns and 8 turns, we returned to the place where the tank had ambushed us. At the end of the road, we could see the outline of the vehicle. After taking a few steps, I finally left the alley and returned to the main road. The feeling of returning to the sunshine is great. If there are no enthusiastic zombies, it's even better. A few shots will knock out the heads of the nearby zombies, take out the motorcycle, ignite and shift gears, and turn the gas pedal all the way. The motorcycle's rear wheel master spun, and the front of the motorcycle lifted slightly. Despite the obstruction of the zombies, it rushed out like an arrow, charging towards the sunset. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website. Chapter 10. Building. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Following the instructions, the motorcycle engine roared incessantly, and by this time, Huang Tianyuan was approaching the center of the city. With the roar of the motorcycle, the roar of the zombies was like a tsunami, and Huang Tianyuan was extremely panicked and anxious. The zombie is not the audience watching a concert, they won't obediently watch his performance and shout 666. Anxiously searching for the traces of the safe house, the survivors left their marks facing forward as if there was no end. Huang Tianyuan suspected that the survivors who evacuated at that time must have had transportation to take their place, otherwise walking such a long distance would have been exhausting. On the road behind me, zombies kept pouring out from the alleys on both sides, filling the road like a crowd of protesters. The crowd was furious, and this was indeed something they used to do. But Huang Tianyuan doesn't want to be the object of their protest. So dense, it's cool every minute. Looking at the crowd of corpses behind him, he yelled out, "Brothers and sisters behind, can you stop chasing? Isn't it good to walk on one side of the road facing the sky?" Obviously, this is an ineffective persuasion, perhaps due to language barriers. Huang Tianyuan had no choice but to ride as fast as possible. Rush forward, without a safe house, just run straight to the end of the world. But the motorcycle told him, "No, you can't. The fuel indicator on the dial has slipped into the red danger zone. If you don't refuel quickly, the motorcycle will go on strike." Huang Tianyuan. "Hurry up and charge me, I want to escape from here." Motorcycle. "Then you should cheer me on." Huang Tianyuan. "Cheer up, cheer up, cheer up." Motorcycle. "You keep playing, I'll just stop and listen." Huang Tianyuan. "Stop and cheer up, I'll be surrounded." Motorcycle. "That's your business, the zombies won't eat me." Stop the crazy OS in his heart and mutter incessantly, safe house, come out of me," as if hearing his inner cry. Finally, a building appeared ahead, with a sign for a safe house and an arrow pointing towards a doorway on the wall. At the same time, motorcycles are completely on strike, and without fuel, they still want to run. They are not electric or hybrid. Hurriedly get off the car, put it in the storage space, take out a homemade grenade, light the fuse, and throw it high back, then hold the gun and run desperately towards the safe house. After the grenade was ignited, it made a beeping sound, attracting the attention of most zombies. When the grenade landed, the attracted zombies rushed together, frantically pulling the homemade grenades that fell to the ground. Soon, the fuse burned out, and the grenade exploded, shattering the nearest zombie into pieces. The surrounding zombies were lifted by the explosive power. The zombies that were not affected by the explosion became confused again. Huang Tianyuan didn't have time to watch all of this. There were some zombies chasing after him, and he didn't pay attention to this part because he had the confidence to run faster than them. The trouble is that the zombies running towards him from the front are trying to block him, afraid of being delayed by them and being caught up by the zombies from behind. Pull the trigger and quickly shoot towards them. After all the bullets are fired, move the gun towards the storage space and replace it with a shotgun. Wait until a zombie hinders its progress before shooting to physically dissuade it. The zombie left behind doesn't care about it, the safe house is right in front of us. There is only one thought. To rush in. At 10 meters, 8 meters, and 5 meters, a thin and small figure leaped high and threw itself at his neck, cursing inwardly as the muzzle shifted upwards for 2 consecutive shots. Let it fly higher, 2 meters, 1 meter. After rushing through the doorway, I immediately noticed a prominent red iron door. With an unstoppable body, I rushed to the safety door and pulled it open with one hand. After flashing in, I immediately pulled the door open and hung the door bolt with steel bars. The zombie chasing behind slammed into the door with a loud bang, huddled together, and then reluctantly slammed the door. I made a face at the zombies outside the door, not wanting to see their ferocious faces anymore. I blocked the shooting hole and brought in some miscellaneous items to block the door. Wow! What an exciting journey, is this the meaning of tourism? Chased by zombies like a dog. Please do it again tomorrow, please. Roast in my heart, I kept moving with my hands. I took off my riot suit, took out my long knife, imagined that there was an abominable zombie standing in front of me, and started my daily practice. It seemed that I could also wave out my depression with a knife. The concentration of zombies in the city was something we had anticipated before, but the reality is indeed quite cruel. If there were no motorcycles today, I'm afraid the difficulty of coming here would increase. Although it may be possible to slowly walk over here, the time required will definitely double, and it is necessary to spend the night outside, which will increase the danger. If you can't sleep well all night, you will be even less energetic the next day. When the time comes, the mind will be in a daze, and the danger will increase. This is a question. After a simple maintenance of the knife, I took out the motorcycle and filled it with oil. It's highly likely that I'll have to rely on it to make the trip tomorrow. I had a sumptuous dinner. A noodle feast. After finishing, I took a break, took a shower, applied medicine, got into my sleeping bag, and prepared to go to bed. Looking at my points, the total number of points reached 81. There are still 2 safe houses left and we can break through 100. We need to continue working hard tomorrow. Carrying expectations and falling asleep, speechless all night. The next morning, after taking a break from breakfast, Huang Tianyuan hurriedly left the safety gate on the other side and embarked on a journey to find a safe house, to earn points. Going out from the other side of the building leads to another avenue. Geographically speaking, the location of this building is very advantageous, with both sides facing the streets and a dense flow of people. I don't know its value, but it is definitely not cheap. Let go of the strange thoughts in your mind, the matter is important. There aren't many zombies on this avenue, they're sparse. I don't know if they were attracted there yesterday. The mark left by the survivor was pointing towards the front of the road towards the city center. Huang Tianyuan took out his motorcycle and flipped over, patting the fuel tank with his right hand. Old buddy, it seems it's up to you today. He started the engine, shifted gears, and turned the accelerator all the way. After a brief and rapid friction between the rear wheels and the ground, the motorcycle was driven forward rapidly. The journey was surprisingly smooth, with only a few zombies rushing to the front of the motorcycle being solved by Huang Tianyuan with a sand eagle. Until reaching the designated destination, a towering building and countless zombie figures gathered in front of it. The zombies on the periphery had already heard the sound and looked towards Huang Tianyuan. Startled, Huang Tianyuan quickly put away his motorcycle and walked quickly into a nearby building to take shelter. It seemed that the sound of the motorcycle had disappeared, and Huang Tianyuan was also quite far away. Several zombies running towards him stopped after Huang Tianyuan's figure disappeared, and after a moment of confusion, they returned to the team. The zombies inside this building seemed to have also gathered, and Huang Tianyuan arrived unobstructed on the rooftop. This building is not high, just a few tens of meters in size. The contrast of piers has lowered its impression in Huang Tianyuan's heart. Compared to the building in front of it, its height is not worth mentioning. Standing at the edge of the rooftop, taking out a telescope to look in the direction of the building, the zombies gathered together in a dark and unclear manner. Is it the instinctive drive of collective protest that leaves Huang Tianyuan puzzled? Or is it a zombie upgrading and evolving, achieving enlightenment and becoming an immortal, and being worshipped by the corpses? An hour ago, in the 12th safety zone of the Moldy country, the special second team was ordered to come to this fallen city with the aim of obtaining valuable information left behind by a scientific research institution in this building. While quietly entering the building, a member was suddenly jumped out of the building gate by a skinny monkey zombie and rode around their neck, while the other members opened fire. Although the skinny monkey zombie was killed, its cry alarmed the zombie. When the zombie discovered a living person, it roared, causing the zombie to gather and besiege. This team is well trained and seems very familiar with the building. After quickly obtaining the mission items, they ran to the 6th floor of the building and landed on the rope from the other side of the building. All personnel safely evacuated, leaving behind a pile of confused zombies gathered here. Huang Tianyuan didn't know about being ambushed by the Moldy Country Special Forces, and after daydreaming, he looked at the dense zombies and felt worried. A staggering number of zombies, even if the sniper rifle has enough bullets, it may take 1 or 2 days to snipe them one by one. We need to find a way to divert these zombies away. Otherwise, how can we get in? There doesn't seem to be anything useful in the storage space either. After thinking for a while, I couldn't come up with a solution even though my brain was wide and painful. Huang Tianyuan had no choice but to give up thinking and look up on the street to see what was useful. Across the street from this building seems to be a shopping center, and the large shopping signs on the entrance are very eye-catching. Perhaps you can find useful things inside. It's better than just daydreaming here. Having made up his mind, Huang Tianyuan went downstairs, crossed the street, and walked into this shopping center. However, what seems to be in this shopping center are all luxury items such as clothing, bags, and shoes. It's not very useful for attracting zombies anymore. It still has some effect on Huang Tianyuan. I selected several sets of clothes, shoes, socks, underwear, and other items for my family, and also specially selected 2 bags for my sister. Of course, he also picked a few sets to prepare for his own use. After all, he was too lazy to wash clothes before and lost the personal clothes he had changed. The selection was completed, but the payment was not made because the salesperson ran away to protest. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and go out later to take a look. There is nothing useful, so we have to hurry back. Stepping out of the shopping center, I let out a deep sigh. Looking left and right, there was a small truck parked in front of a house on the right. With a mindset of trying it out, he came to the front of the truck. The car was unlocked and the door opened as soon as he pulled it. He reached in and saw the key in the car. He reached out and turned the key, and the vehicle hissed twice before starting. Huang Tianyuan was overjoyed and sat in the driver's cab. He put down the handbrake and clumsily reversed the car, pointing in the opposite direction of the building. He rushed into the shopping center and grabbed several jackets, locking the defense wheel. The horn button in the center of the steering wheel was pressed against a stone and then tied with the torn jacket. Shift gears, pick up a stone, gently press down on the accelerator, and then jump out of the car. So the car advanced at a speed of about 15 kilometers per hour, emitting a piercing horn sound. After finishing all of this, Huang Tianyuan ran downstairs where he had previously avoided, took out his shotgun and pulled the trigger into the sky. With 2 loud bangs, he immediately ran to the rooftop and secretly observed the zombies' reaction. The zombies, attracted by the gunfire, saw a small truck driving forward while honking its horn. emitting a deafening roar, and then chased after it in a swarm. Remember the website address of this website, www.baichusu.com, for easy reading next time, or enter, on Baidu to enter this website.